All right. So hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday afternoon yoga. This will be a back bendy kind of a sequence today. We're building towards dancer's pose. So I'll have you start lying on your back. So yay, take a load off. Just as an update, on these hot days, my puppy is the best dog ever because she's just really tired. So all she's been doing is laying on the ground, low to the ground and sleeping. And when she's hot, she doesn't even like the couch. It's got to be on the floor. So that's what we're doing. We're getting on the floor. Get low and cool. And then just let yourself land. So you might want to wiggle around a little bit. You might want to squiggle and then just let yourself land. And that's all you have to do is land and then start to pay attention. So you get really still. And then notice your breath. What does stillness feel like today? Sometimes when I get still, I can really just sink in, and other times I get kind of antsy. So what is it for you today? And can you settle more in on your breath? So if you are feeling kind of antsy, get more into your exhale. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose if you can, unless allergies are getting to you or something. And just notice the breath moving. So stillness and quiet so that we can pay attention. We can grow our awareness. We can notice what is, and then we can create change if we wish. But it starts with the quiet part. The quiet and the stillness are necessary to build the presence and awareness. And then the change. So slow breath in, slow breath out. Get a sense of what the physical body is up to today. So how does the physical body feel? And then go in a layer. What is the mental body all about? And that would be that hard to be still. Is there a lot of mental energy? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it somewhere in the middle? And then what about the emotional body? So what's in there? And just make room for whatever is. In order to heal, we have to be able to feel. And that goes for us, and that goes for our world in general. So noticing, paying attention, acknowledging, feeling, all key. And then bend your knees and take your feet wide on your yoga mat. And our simple wide feet on the mat. Window wiper, arms outstretched. And just let the legs fall to the right, and you could look over to the left. And now when you look to the left, look at your left hand and start to rotate, have the thumb to the sky, and then start to rotate the thumb towards your head, and then keep spinning the thumb towards the floor, and then the pinky finger will follow. So you have external rotation of the left arm that you're looking at. And then just come back up to center with the legs and let the arm undo that, and let the legs go to the left. And then look at the right hand, thumb to the sky, then thumb headward, and then keep spinning the thumb towards the floor. So the palm is going towards the floor. External rotation of the arm that you're looking at. And that's actually external rotation of the shoulder. And then breathe. And then just start to go back and forth. So inhale, the legs go up to the center, and the head turns to the left, and the arm you're looking at does the external rotation. And now the arm that you're not looking at could do the opposite rotation, so it could rotate inward. And then just go back and forth. And let there be a little bit of luxury to this. And by that, I mean, it's like you stretch out the end. So when I'm just doing it kind of jerky and fast, then I don't really get to experience it and feel it. It's like, you know, when you're eating ice cream, do you lick it or do you take bites? Usually you savor it and go slow. So same idea with this. So the slow movement so that you can really get a full taste of it. And then you're moving with the breath. So the breath and the movement, it's like they are so together. They're in a happy relationship. And then with the shoulder rotation, you could actually exaggerate it so that the back of your shoulder blade could actually pull off the floor. So we're getting some extra torso movement. So feel free to do that if that's feeling like it's getting somewhere good. So that might be another way to get a little bit more enjoyment out of the movement. And if that doesn't feel right, back off. And then just one more time. One more time. And then the next time your legs are over to the right, stay. And just let your arms release. So we're letting go of the arms. And then roll over to your right side. So you're on your right side. And you could have your bottom leg bent. And then just lift up. So you're lifting up the top leg, which would be your left. And then take the leg a little bit behind you. So you're going into hip extension. And then bend the knee like you're trying to touch your heel towards your bum. And if you get a cramp, just move smaller. And then unbend the knee or straighten the leg, and then let the hip come back, and then lower the leg down. So we'll do that again. So the leg lifts, and then the hip goes back behind you with the leg straight. So that's your hip extension. And then bend the knee. So you're taking the heel towards your bum. And just see where that goes, and then straighten the leg, and then let the hip come back, and then the leg lowers, and then just do that again. So inhale, leg lifts, exhale, the leg goes back behind you. So you usually only have about 12 degrees of motion there, so it's not big. And then bend the knee, heel comes towards your bum, and then straighten the knee. Leg comes back and lower down. And just do that a couple more times with your own rhythm. And just get a sense of how you're doing this. And if you're just putting a lot of weight in your front hand, then how can you negotiate so that you don't have to hold yourself up with your hand? Is there a way of you doing that? Wow, I just got a little cramp there. And then when you're done that, just pause and then flip right back over onto your back, and then hug your knees into your chest. So ankle flexion, we've been doing this a lot, and toe flexion. Your little yoga ball, like you're trying to take your knees into your eyes, and then inhale, reach out like a V. So you're going into this star shape, radiate out from navel to fingers to crown of head, then navel to tail and toes. And then curl in like you're hugging, drawing everything into the center, and then go back and forth. So it's this big curling in and drawing in and gathering, and then this big radiating, reaching out. And then just a couple more times. Curl your toes in so you get some of the muscles in your feet waking up. And then the next time you're in your little ball, just pause and place the feet back down wide and your arms go out. And then let your knees roll over to the left and then flip over onto your left side. Okay, so on your left side, then again, you could bend the bottom leg, that'll help your balance, and then float the leg up. Take the leg behind you, hip extension, and then bend the knee, reach the heel towards your bum. And then, oh, what happened there? The leg goes back down. That was interesting. So straighten the leg, hip extension, leg goes behind you. Bend the knee, heel goes for your bum. So I need to not be so vigorous with that one. And then straighten the knee, and then the hip comes a little forward, and then the leg lowers. And just repeat that. Did anyone else get cramps for that? Holy smokes, this one like grabbed me quite hard. So I'm gonna go a little bit easier on this side. And notice if you're putting a lot of weight in your hand. So that might mean that you find a different way to balance so that you're not taking pressure in your hand. And notice if you're clenching your jaw or your bum. You don't want to do either of those things. So can you find the movement without the compensations? Oh yeah. Woo-hoo. And then one more time. One more time. So this side is definitely being a little tricky for me. All right, so I'm gonna respect that. And then lower the leg down. And then just roll over onto your back. And again, your little yoga ball. Exhale. Inhale, reach out, radiate. And then hug in small. And just go back and forth a couple times. Big exhale, curling the toes, curling in really small. The next time you're in your little yoga ball, flip over, and then hands and knees, okay? So if you need padding, you can have your blanket as a pad. I like to have my blocks close by and have your wrists under your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. And start with your cat-cow. So the cow pose ripples up the spine and the head lifts last, and then ripple the tailbone under and let that slide up the back, and then exaggerate this action of your cat through the shoulder blades, and then let the shoulder blades dive down and hug together in your cow. And in your cat, they spread wide, hollow. And then just one more time. And then come into neutral. And take the right leg back behind you. And shift the weight backwards so you get into the calf. Oh, yes. That was kind of lovely. My dog walking is catching up with me. My calves are getting tighter and tighter. My dog, it's called walk. What do I do with the dog? I walk, run, sniff, and drag is what we do. Today we met a lot of dogs on the way, and so there was a lot of, I had to carry her at one point. And then shift forward, and then float the leg, hip height, opposite arm reaches out. Okay, now let the outstretched arm circle around and reach back along your side. And then bend the knee, heel reaches towards your bum, and just see if you touch your foot. Don't try to curl your body to reach it. Just have your hand go back and just see where it goes. And then straighten the leg, arm circles back around, and then come into your cow, not your cow, your cat, rounded back. And then inhale, reach long. Exhale, bend the knee, arms circles around out to the side. So there's shoulder mobility in that. And you're reaching for your foot, maybe, but the leg is more reaching for you. And then reverse the action and then curl in. And do that one more time, just one more go. Reach out, bend the knee, arm circles back, reaches for the foot, and then undo, curl and round, and then place the hands down, knees wide, wide leg child's pose. Walk the right hand over and across and get some tension in the hand. So this revolved child's pose, Parshva, you want to reach across and then get a little tug so you're sliding your hips over to the right. So if you were, it's like you're highlighting this side, the underside side of the body. And just breathe. There's a little tension there. Yeah, but relax your face and jaw. So the tension should be in the side body and not anywhere else. And then come back up, hands and knees, and then left leg back behind you. And then lean back so you get into the calf. And again, oohs and ahs. And then shift the weight back forward and float the leg hip height. So the hips stay level to the floor. Right arm reaches out, so opposition arms. And then the arm circles around. I'll do it from a different view. Arm circles around, the leg bends, and I'm trying to see if, does my hand reach my foot, but I'm not trying to curl my side body to get it, if that makes sense. And then undo, reach long, and then curl up. And again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, arm comes around as you flex the knee. Hand reaches for the foot, maybe, and then reach long, and exhale, curl in. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, keep the weight even through the leg and the hand. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, curl in. And then place the hands and the knees down. Shift back, wide leg child's pose, and walk the left arm over and across. Tented fingers, and then a little slide. Like if you could get more tautness, you're going for it. And then soften face and jaw and breathe all around the back as you let go. Ah. All right, come back to center, then hands and knees. Hands and knees shift forward. Bend the elbows so they're scraping along the ribs and you're lowering chest and belly down. Pause. And then push down at the hands so that the chest and belly lift back up, and then shift back, child's pose. And then go back and forth. So slide forward, lower down, push up all at once. So notice if belly lifts before the chest, can they both come at the same time? And elbows scrape. And if you find that you're done, your shoulders are like, I really don't want to do this anymore, then you just stay in your child's pose. Okay? And I'll tell you when to join us. Push. So we're getting into the back of the arms a lot. This is a lot of body strength. And then one more time, and then lower all the way down and stay. All the way down and stay. And then walk your arms in front, Sphinx. So you have this really lovely back bend. So in order to get a back bend, the front line of the body needs to be able to lengthen, and the back of the body needs to be able to get shorter. So both sides have to work, and then also you need support with your inner and outer hip. So all of those things come into play. And you need breath. And then exhale, lower down. Slide the hands to the base of the ribs, and then rise up, little snaky up dog, or stay part way. And then it's up, push down with the hands. and the feet. And then exhale, press back, downward dog. And then do a little walk through with your feet. So you always have that option here. You could be hands and knees. You don't have to be in your dog, or you could be in a child's pose. I just like that extra walking through the feet, so I get a little bit more in the calves and in the back line. And then pause and take the center of both heels away towards the floor. They may not touch. In fact, for most of us, they won't, or they shouldn't. You might need to bend your knees a little bit. That's fine. Inhale, right leg floats high in the air. And then exhale, knee towards the chest. And then place the knee right down on the mat. So knee right down on the mat. Spin modified side plank. And then arm goes along your sides. Float the up leg, because it'd be pretty hard to float the down leg. And then bend the knee, and your hand reaches back for your foot. See if it's reachable. Like if you have to do crazy stuff, then just keep your hand there. And then you can add a little accent of a little bow back. So it's like you're pressing your foot into your hand and the hand and the foot, if there's a reach. If not, you just do this kind of moon shape. And then let the leg release, the arm release, and then come back to downward facing dog. Okay. Inhale, left leg goes high. And again, just push off the hands. So up leg up, down leg down. And then take the knee to the chest and place the knee right down on the mat. And spin so that you have this modified side plank. Float the leg. Arm goes long at your side, and then bend the knee. And just see where does the hand meet the foot? And if it does, then you stay and you add a little bit of a bow. So the chest expands and the leg kicks back. One more breath. And then you undo and then place the hands back down and make your way back to downward facing dog. From dog, you have the choice to stay, or you can slide forward, elbows scrape along the ribs as you lower slow. And then we'll do a little sphinx. So again, optional. You could be in child's pose. Lower down, hands slide at the base of the ribs, rise up, upward dog, push through the feet and underneath the arms to press back, downward dog, and then breathe. Come back into your breath and stillness. And then right leg floats up in the air. Take the knee towards your chest, a careful step forward, or use your hand to help it. And then the back knee goes down, okay? So back knee down. And here, a little bit of containment so that we're staying, our ribs and our pelvis are staying connected instead of letting this kind of spill out thing happen. So it's a little bit of a slide forward. Arms could reach up or they could clasp behind your head. So that'll depend on your shoulders. And then exhale, hands on the blocks, tuck under, I don't know what I was tucking under, but you're pulling the hips back and pull up the front 5 toes, and then bend the front knee. And again, the back knee lowers, and inhale, lift up, reach up, little supported head back bend, and then exhale. Oh yeah, you are tucking under the back foot, so you are tucking under something. Pull up the front 5 toes, and just go back and forth with this. So a little toggle. Front of the hip. Now we're getting into the back of the hip so that we're pliable front and back. Oh yeah. And the next time the front knee is bent and the back knee is down, just reach up and stay for a moment. Just stay, breathe. Let your arms go wide and place the hands up on the blocks. Tuck under the ball of the back foot and energize the leg back. So strong, energizing back through the leg. Arms sweep back and then rise up. So you have your crescent lunge. Wow. And then hands at your heart. Just hands at your heart. Now find your legs and a little twist towards the front leg. Now notice if your neck turned more than your torso. So you want the ribs to turn and the head just goes with you. So there should be relaxation in the head, I hope. And then you could take left arm across, right hand to the small of the back, and just a little press of the arm into the leg, arm into the back. And you turn a little bit more, leading from the ribs. One more breath. And then undo. Arms can float back up. They can circle wide and around, and a step back into plank pose. Now here's where you have choices, right? You could go right back into downward dog. Your knees could go down for a cat-cow, or you could do your slow lowering. And again, it's slow, so you're paying attention. And then I like to add in the Sphinx, just so we get a little double back bend. And then lower down, and an up dog, or a partway locust. And exhale, press back, downward dog, and then breathe. So come back into your breath. Come back into stillness for a moment. Feel what you feel. Inhale, left leg floats high. Exhale, knee to the chest. Step forward, easy. Use your hand to adjust if you need. Back knee down. So if you need padding, have something underneath. And then inhale, your arms could come up, or little cup for the back of the head. Elbows go high. And then exhale, tuck under the ball of the back foot. And you could straighten the front leg and pull the hips back. And go back and forth. So take your time. So again, it's that luxury thing. So we want to savor it instead of just taking a bite and swallowing. It's kind of like, you know when you get a really good dessert, but you gobble it down so much that then all of a sudden you look down and you just see a plate of crumbs and you're like, what happened? So much better when you slow down. Because then if you're left with a plate of crumbs and you're like, it's not quite satisfying, and then you feel like you have to get more. Oh yeah. So what are you feeling? What are you noticing about the front and the back of your body? And the next time the front knee is bent, just stay for a moment. Just stay, and then tuck under the ball of the back foot. Energize through the back heel. I'm just gonna turn my body a little bit. So you energize through the back heel, and then the arms sweep back. So there's lots of legs here. And then press down to reach up. Crescent lunge, hoo-wah. And then hands come to your heart. Relax your neck, relax your face. And then turn from the ribs. So let the hips stay, the legs stay, the head doesn't have to do too much, the eyes stay soft. So you don't have to have like a sharp gaze, it's more soft. And then right hand could go across, left hand to the small of the back, and then a little press of the hand into the leg in the back, and then turn from the ribs. And then breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. And then come out, reach up high, lift up, and then arms could circle around, whatever range is good for your shoulders. And then a quiet, ho-ho, deliberate step back to plank. And now again, you have your choices. So at some point you might be done with the chaturanga flow, and you might need something less intense. So feel free. Your cat-cow is usually quite lovely. And then make your way back, downward facing dog. And then breathe. Come back into stillness. Come back into your breath. This is like your check-in moment. All right, inhale, right leg floats high in the air. Exhale, a careful step forward. Back knee down. Now lift up the same arm as the front leg. So that would be right arm up high. Left arm reaches back. Tuck under the ball of the back foot. Keep your weight backwards, and can you come up into your lunge with keeping the leg back? And then it's just this reach up and back. All right. Rise up, turn, open your warrior two. Okay. So you're now in your warrior two. Inner thighs resist away. And then come into the center. Pivot the feet, turn the toes out, and sink down so you have your goddess or horse stance. And then pivot the right foot, pivot the left foot, hips resist out, and then reach out, reach out, reach out. And then repeat. So can we not be in a hurry to get to the other side? So can you savor this and move with grace? So there's that component of strength and fluidity. And as you work, you might be able to coax more depth. Only if your body is still saying, yes, that's okay. And notice how you have to pivot the feet and then the hips, then you radiate out. And just one more time. And then when you're back in your warrior two, stay, spin the palm, reverse warrior. So reach up and back, keep the hip pulling back. My back hip tends to roll in. So I'm gonna really work today on keeping this hip pulling back for this. One more breath. Can you find stillness even in a hard place? And then pick up the back heel, pivot, place the hands down, step back, plank, pivot on the right hand or right knee down, and you have your side plank. Now you could cup the hand around the head, or the arm could be wherever you like it to be. So knee down or on the foot, and then step back, and this reach open. Breathe. And then exhale, retrace your steps, and then press back at child's pose. All right, how did that go? We're all good? And just breathe. Make your way back into dog on your own time. And find the stillness in this position. So there's breath, there's stillness, there's paying attention. And then inhale, the left leg floats high. And exhale, knee to the chest, a deliberate step or help of the leg forward, and then back knee down. Same arm as front leg lifts up, so that would be left arm reaches high. Tuck under the ball of the back foot, but instead of shifting forward, keep your weight quite back. And then can you rise up, straight up instead of shifting forward, and reach. And then exhale, back foot pivots, and you have your warrior two. Forearm to the thigh, extended angle, or the arm could press into the leg. And just breathe. Rise back up, warrior two, just like before. Pivot the feet, pivot again, Warrior two, then your slide into your extended angle and forearm and radiate out. And then we go back and forth. There's more pieces involved this time. So can you be super deliberate in each pose? So find each pose before you transition into the next one. So there should be time for a moment of stillness and breath in each pose before you shift. And then when you make your way back to the left, our starting place, stay in your warrior two. No rush. If you're just getting there, take your time. But if you're there, spin the palm and reverse warrior. Keep the back hip just reaching. Breathe. Reverse warrior. And then exhale, pick up the back heel, pivot, place the hands down, step back, plank, spin, side planks. I believe the left hand should be down and the top arm could do whatever it likes really for your shoulder, but lift up underneath the armpit, chest. And breathe. Can you find stillness and breath in this? And the top leg could step behind in this back bend shape. Breathe. Exhale, retrace, and then wide leg child's pose, and then breathe. Super nice. Breathe in, breathe out. And then make your way back into your dog. So back into your downward dog. And again, just find your breath. Okay? So you're back in your dog, back into stillness, back into the breath. And send the weight really strong back into your legs. So really strong back into the legs. And then walk your hands to your feet. So a slow walk of the hands to the feet, a ragdoll fold, and then a roll up to the mountain pose. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, hands at your heart. Okay, good. Then step the right leg forward and the right arm high. And then lift up and take, so you have your left leg behind you in hip extension, so side view would be here. And then just reach the leg and lift up. So I'm not touching the leg, I'm just trying to get the heel to my bum all on its own. I'm gonna lift up. And then left foot forward, left arm high, hip extension of the right leg, bend the knee, have your hand seeing where the foot goes. See, on this side, it's not the same. So interesting. And then again, walk forward, and we're just doing our walking dancers. And then you probably have room to do one more step forward. I would imagine I'm running out of camera space. And lift up. And then exhale, let the leg lower, and then just have your hands at your heart and just pause. Okay. Let the arms release. And if you have a strap, this would be the time to have it. And if you have a block, we'll get it ready for that too. So take your strap and then step in. All I'm doing is making a giant loop. You could do this without the strap. So We'll do the strap for the first set and then see where we go. So step into the strap, and then the leg comes back behind you. Okay, and I will turn to the side. So elbows hug in, and keep your hips square to the front, and then start to reach the heel towards your bum. So this is a back bend, and then you could start to tip forward a little bit. So there's both of those things going on. There's a back bend and hip extension. And you just reach the leg back and the chest lifts up, and your gaze might go up too, or forward, depending on how much back bending or how much leaning you're doing. One more breath. And then can you slowly come out so there's not like a ricochet rebound action. Pause, and then have your feet a little bit wide, and then bend your knees, and just a little ragdoll with maybe a little elephant sway. And then press through the feet and just roll up. And then second side. How are we doing? This is actually a very hard pose, isn't it? So left foot, leg comes back. So if you don't have a strap, you could just bring the leg up to you and have your arms up by your head and just do it as if you had the strap. A little different, but that would be fine. So for this version, it's more of a back bend, right? As the leg lifts up, and then your tip forward is up to you. But what I'm I'm trying to avoid letting my hip flare open, so I'm staying more like crescent lunge hips than I am warrior two hips. And that'll help your SI joint along if you're irritated there. One more breath. A slow release. Generous knee bend. Maybe a drape over the legs. And a little sway. And then roll back up. And then you could do it exactly the same way, or the next version would be to take the right leg back and the right arm opens out to the side. So you have this external rotation that we did at the beginning of practice, remember? So your thumb would go up to the sky and the palm out to the side, and it catches the inside of the foot. If that's not good on your shoulders, feel free to do a different hold. That would be fine. Knee comes towards the other knee, like the inner thighs are magnetized. And then same arm as standing, leg reaches up. So you could stay here or even have the leg back. Then it's this push of the foot into the hand and a reach forward as the leg goes back. Wow. And then so you could tip forward a lot, or you could stay more upright and reach the leg more towards your head. Depending on you. One more breath. And then can you come out slow? That was an attempt at grace from my part. And then a generous knee bend and a drape over the legs and a little sway. And then press into the feet and a slow roll up. And we have another leg to do. Okay, so the arm sweeps open like you're ushering people into the room. And then start to take the left leg back behind you and bend the knee. So reach towards the foot. And again, it could be done with the foot on the floor. And then same arm as standing leg reaches forward. Keep your knees towards the floor, or the floating knee pulls in towards the floor, I should say. And then a kick back with the foot into the hand, and then the reaching arm reaches. This could be more back bendy or more tippy, foldy forward. So leave that up to you. And you just find your breath. Oh yeah, where's that moment of stillness and breath? And then a slow release. A pause. bent knee, drape over, little sway, roll up. One more version. So you could do it exactly the same way, either choice 1, 2, or now we have 3. So for this one, I'm going to put my foot, this is not a foot, I'm putting my block in front of my standing leg, okay? So same arm, standing leg lifts, right leg goes back. So I'm gonna find my dancers, and then now it's going to be about the tip over. So you could watch first if you need to. And then in my tipped over position, then I'm gonna push my hand into the block, straighten the standing leg, and then I start to do that bow action. And I still try to keep my knee pulling inner thigh to inner thigh. And then to come up, bend the standing leg, arm reaches out and push into the standing leg to reach up, and then you return. Pause. Okay? So there's stillness and breath throughout the whole thing. And if you're like, there's no way I want to do that, then stick with version 1 or 2. Okay? Most important is not how awesome your balance is. It's more, can you breathe? Can you pay attention? And can you be okay if things don't go quite the way you want them to? Because that's the real practice, isn't it? The real practice is not when everything's going really well. That's the easy stuff. Breathe. Take a breath in between sides. And then go to the second side. And approach it with that same mindful approach. And if you need a breather, take a longer breath in between. Or if you're done, come into mountain pose and just have the feet a little bit wide. And just pause. So we're not in a rush. We're taking our sweet time. Moving with strength and grace. And when you are done, take your time to get there if you're not, but when you are done, just come into your mountain pose. And you might even want to close your eyes or your hands at your heart or at your sides. And let your breath soften and settle. And just notice how you feel standing. How's the breath moving? How does your body feel? Can you feel the echo of the pose? Everything we do, every action and thought and word leaves a trace. So it can either be a light trace or it can be really gummy and gooey when we do something we wish we hadn't. So what's the trace? And then inhale, reach way up high, extended mountain. Exhale, bow and fold. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins so you're long in the spine. Exhale, place your hands, walk your feet back to plank. And you could either do a cat-cow or a high-low push-up, your chaturanga. If you're still feeling all right, and then press back, downward dog. And then place your knees down on the mat and a little bit of a very compact child's pose. So if your knees allow, what I'm going to do is have a block for underneath my forehead. And my inner thighs are together. since I got to change this view. And so I'm in this little embryo kind of position. And you could have your arms in any position that feels supportive. And can you let yourself just get really quiet? Notice the breath, how the breath is moving. And then make your way to seated. And take the soles of the feet together. So you might want to sit up on a little bit of a height. So you have your pelvis can be neutral instead of tilted backwards. And then just a little, again, a little soft fold. So it doesn't have to be a lot. See, that's a lot. That's not so much. Holy moly. Or maybe a block tower. This is better. So wherever you need to be, or you don't even have to lean forward much. It might just be the tiniest little tilt, but just get some space for the groins and inner thigh. Just breathe. And make your way back up. Draw the legs in together. Lie on your back and have your knees together, inner thighs together, and roll to the side for a supine twist. And then you could look over the opposite shoulder. And if that pulls on your low back or the SI joint, you could place block between the inner thighs or block under the outer thigh. And then again, that stillness and just paying attention. If you're outside, you could be looking up at the sky. It's always sweet. In my kitchen, it's not quite as sweet. I can see the trees in the corner of my eyes. And then let your legs come back up to center. Let the legs roll the other way. Prop if you need, and then just settle. And then come back to center. And our final pose is Shavasana. And if you have a wall, legs up the wall would be the Shavasana of the day, unless you don't like it. So if your body's like, oh, I just need this butterfly pose, then totally do what you need. You could, if you don't have a wall, you could put your hips up on your block and legs up. So whatever you need, and just let your legs fall into you. So there's just this reversal of energy. Particularly good on hot days. And then again, just go into your breath. and your stillness. Mindfulness is to allow things to speak for themselves without first interrupting. So just let the body speak to you. Mindfulness is to allow things to speak for themselves without first interrupting. And start to deepen the breath. And just begin to move gently. Listen to what the body has to say. And then roll over to one side. Just check in. How's the physical body? Where's the mental energy and quality? And what about the emotional body? What's there? And use the strength of your arms to rise to seated. And then bring your hands to your heart. And just notice your breath. Thumbs at third eye. So we can get really still and quiet and see on a very deep level. And then hands at the heart for kindness and self-compassion. We bow from our ground, our strength, and our sense of belonging. Namaste. Om Shanti. Peace. Thank you so much for being here.